All right, guys, we got a lot of big Nintendo Switch 2 news and more to get into. I'm sorry about my voice. I know it's still not cleared up yet, still not back to 100%, but I'm getting better and better. Thank you for everybody that said get well soon, but we got to keep going. The show must go on. So let's go ahead and jump right into the first big news here with Persona 3 Reload, and then stay around because we've got updates on Call of Duty for the Nintendo Switch 2 and a big exclusive horror game coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 that should be revealed in 2026 based off of what the developers are saying. So let's go ahead and jump right into the Persona 3 Reload news. We got version patch 1.03 update. It is now available for the Nintendo Switch 2, and it improves the frame rate to somewhere where I said it should have been. Had a lot of people saying that, oh, Switch 2 is not strong enough. That's crazy when it comes down to it. But yes, 60 FPS is now available in docked mode for Persona 3 Reload at this point. So Atlus has released the version 1.03 update for the Nintendo Switch 2 version of Persona 3 Reload, which improves performance with a targeted 60 frames per second performance mode in TV mode and boosts frame rate stability across all other modes. So for those who didn't know, Persona 3 Reload first launched on the Nintendo Switch 2 with 30 FPS and frame rate dips, frame and pacing problems. That seems to have been smoothed out when it comes to the portable mode, the 30 FPS. It's a lot cleaner 30 FPS. Not perfect. Would have liked to see that bumped up to 60 FPS, but that seems to have been smoothed out here. And then, of course, 60 FPS if you're playing the game docked, which it should have been like that from the beginning. The developers did state that they wanted to reach a deadline. So essentially, they pretty much told us that they rushed the game out before, which I did cover on the channel. So let's talk a little bit more about this. Performance mode, only available in TV mode, targets 60 FPS per second. Obviously great. TV mode and handheld mode, improved frame rate stability. The Switch 2 patch update for the free demo will take place in the coming days. We don't know the exact timing, but if you want to test it out first before you decide to jump in, then you will have to wait a few days when it comes to that. So the Switch 2 version of Persona 3 Reload is also on sale for the first time ever. You can check it out till January 4th, 2026. You can purchase the digital version at 15% off at $50.99. You can find it some places physical for a game key card for about maybe $40. Some people are finding it for $30, but I've only seen it for $40 so far. So yeah, pretty good. Definitely a nice update there when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2 version of this game. And I talked about this before. There's no reason why this game shouldn't have been 60 FPS at the bare minimum on TV dock mode. Now, obviously, it would have been great if they could have got it at 60 FPS in portable mode, but I'm guessing that battery life would have not been very portable overall because they opted to go with the 30 FPS. So I'm not sure how long that game would have lasted, but at the same time, there are other games that are RPGs. There are big games like Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, and Breath of the Wild that also run at 60 FPS in portable mode as well. So I still think that they could have got this with a bit more optimization, but I do know that this game was not built with Nintendo Switch in mind, with portable systems in mind. It was built with x86 PC in mind, but still, it's better than nothing at this point, and once again shows that a lot of these games, if they come out and we don't see 60 FPS, especially for games that are on PlayStation 4, then it's something with the optimization, definitely not the hardware there. So not perfect, but a big improvement, especially if you're going to be playing the game docked mode. And if they have clean 30 FPS performance with no frame rate dips and all of that, then I still think that the portable gameplay is going to be good enough, considering you're going to be able to take it anywhere that you want, and it's going to be seamless between your TV and portable, which games like Persona are great for that. So I'm hoping maybe we get an update for Persona 5 Royal on the Nintendo Switch 2 that desperately needs a resolution bump and a performance bump when it comes to the Switch version of the game, at least Switch version going on Switch 2 or Nintendo Switch 2 version of that game. So we'll see with that. So what do you guys think about Atlus and this big update to Persona 3 Reload on the Nintendo Switch 2? Let me know in the comment section below. But before we get to the next topic, please make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos as soon as they drop. Okay, let's discuss what is going on here with this big, mature, or big horror game coming from Blooper Team, exclusive to to the Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo Insider had an exclusive interview with the Blooper Team developers, and here is what they had to say about this mysterious Project M. The question was this: while the title hasn't been announced, can you go into what players should expect from Project M, the Nintendo platform exclusive horror title from Blooper? Here is what one of the developers had to say on that. You have no idea how hard it is for me to not reveal what Project M truly is, but for now, it's still too early to talk about it. We're confident that we'll be able to share the first details very soon. What I can say is this: fans of Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Limbo, and Eternal Darkness will immediately feel at home. That said, Project M introduces a bold twist, one that no horror game has ever explored before. This is a vision that could only exist on Nintendo hardware. So that's really interesting that they say that. And here's the follow-up question: how much development help do you get from Nintendo for taking advantage of the Switch 2 technology? Here's what they had to say: without the support of the incredible people at Nintendo, this game would never have had a chance to exist. Their trust guided and empowered us at every step of the journey. So, man, that is crazy to hear about that. So there's going to be an exclusive horror game called Project M. At least that's probably not going to be the final name of the game that Blooper Team's going to be working on, and that they're probably going to be taking full advantage of the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, Blooper Team has already done Chronos on the Nintendo Switch 2, which it launched okay, not bad. They did do an update for it, still 30 FPS on the platform from the last thing that I understand. Now, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section below, but it's still solid when it comes to a double A type of Dead Space horror game on the Switch 2. Now, in this game, if it's exclusive to the Nintendo Switch and they're taking full advantage of the system and Nintendo's with them every step of the way, I expect that tech in there to be bumped up. I expect it to be better than Chronos overall when it comes to what they're doing, and a plot twist that nobody's seen, something that nobody has done before. So I'm into Resident Evil. I do like Eternal Darkness. I thought that game was very interesting, a GameCube exclusive from Silicon Knights back in the day. And I do think that if they're going to do something like this, I actually talked about this beforehand, that if the Nintendo Switch 2 can start out hot, if it can get an actual audience overall, we could see some incredible double A games built specifically for the system. And then, of course, later, if it gets ported over to other platforms, that's fine. But man, there is a lot of business and room to explore stuff like this. And we're already seeing it when it comes to some of the announcements here. So I'm really looking forward to what these developers can do. The more like Resident Evil or Eternal Darkness, the better. Eternal Darkness had psychological horror events that mess with your brain in a type of way, had you kind of hallucinating based on your sanity meter. Very innovative gameplay mechanic that a lot of games did not do back then. I don't remember playing a game that did stuff like that. At least I never played anything before Eternal Darkness that messed with your brain that much in terms of the sanity meter. And of course, Resident Evil is one of the gold standards in action horror type of games. Silent Hill has been around and been great for a long time as well. So they did talk about Silent Hill 2 and some other games potentially coming over, because Blooper Team did do the excellent Silent Hill 2 remake, but they have nothing to announce on that. But yeah, very cool when it comes to Project M. Looking forward to what this could be. It does seem like they'll be able to share details, like they said here, very soon. So I'm guessing that this could show up at that next big Nintendo Direct that should be going down sometime early 2026, maybe February or March. The other day on my live stream, I went over all the dates that Nintendo's had early directs in the year, and February is easily one of the target months that they do like to have. Multiple Nintendo Directs have taken place in February, about a month before the financial investors meeting towards the end of the month. The results come out, gives people time to get excited about potentially what's coming up for the year, kind of lay out what you've got when it comes to games, and give more release dates and new announcements. So some of those big early directs are some of the best ones ever. I know for me, for example, I loved the March 2018 Nintendo Direct that revealed Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for the Nintendo Switch 1 and was launching that year. That was a crazy announcement overall. So I'd expect a big early Direct and potentially this game, Project M, to be there. So what do you guys think about what Blooper Team had to say here about this mysterious Project M game that's taking inspiration from Eternal Darkness and Resident Evil? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic, let's discuss more about the first Call of Duty game that's set to hit the Nintendo Switch 2, and it does seem very soon here in the next number of months. It is happening. We've got a pretty reliable Microsoft insider when it comes to that. So shout outs to Go Nintendo for the write-up on this one. Insider Jez Corden, who actually hates Nintendo and the Nintendo Switch 2. So I bet this guy was definitely not necessarily happy about reporting on this. But anyway, he's the exclusive editor at Windows Central. He has the inside scoop on Call of Duty when it comes to the Nintendo side of things. And according to Corden, Call of Duty on Switch is nearly done and launching in a few months. Now, Jez also gives no other details on specifications for this matter or what's going to be happening or anything like that. He's been right on Microsoft stuff in the past. He's gotten some things wrong, but a lot of the things he's gotten right, and he does have an inside track when it comes to Microsoft and PC stuff overall. So it does seem like, just like Project M, this game could be something that Nintendo has ready to go for that next Nintendo Direct that's coming up probably in February or March. Does seem more like February would be the month for the next big Nintendo Direct, and in the next few months that lines up when it comes to a Nintendo Direct and this right here. That lines up perfectly to when we see Call of Duty, we see potential this Project M, we see all these other types of games that we know Nintendo's been working on, because the first slate of titles when it comes to third party and first party, that's just the appetizer, man. There's still way more time. There's still a lot more stuff to get into. This is not a sprint when it comes to Nintendo Switch 2, guys. It is a marathon. Trust me, from someone who's covered Nintendo now for multiple generations, dating back to the Nintendo Wii. There was always a long life to these things in terms of how a system does, what games it gets, what is happening. So we're going to be in for a long ride here. So expect a lot of announcements, expect a lot of stuff to happen between even now and at this point. And when we get to next year at this point, there's going to be way more games that we know about, way more big announcements, more Nintendo Directs, and a lot more stuff to get excited about overall. Now, there was a report as well just a bit ago that Sledgehammer Games was hiring for Nintendo developers and people that have experience working on Nintendo platforms. So it definitely all lines up with this as well. Everything is kind of fallen into place for Call of Duty to make its appearance on the Nintendo Switch 2 sometime in 2026. So what do you guys think about Call of Duty coming over, finally getting an announcement? I'm not a big fan myself, so it's not something that I'm going to necessarily be super excited to play or anything. Of course, I'll check it out for work and have a video, see how it runs and stuff, but what do you guys think about the game? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, let's talk about what Ubisoft is doing with Nintendo in order to bring better VRR, variable refresh rate, which I'll explain to you guys what that does. But Ubisoft is looking to actually bring better support for that and better implementation, not only for their own games when it comes to Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows, but for all games on the Nintendo Switch 2 and of course future Ubisoft games. So shout outs to my man Stealth with the beat on this one, and he states that Ubisoft says that they are working with Nintendo to improve VRR support on Switch 2 going forward. Ubisoft developers who worked on Assassin's Creed Shadows port confirmed that Ubisoft is working with Nintendo to improve VRR support on handheld, not just for their own titles, but for every game. Now, the big thing with this, which it's great, I love the fact that they want to improve that. VRR helps smooth out any potential frame rate issues, frame rate and pacing. VRR kind of naturally smooths that out, and it works really well. It's great. If you have a TV or a monitor, or of course a certain gaming systems that have it in portable mode, or like portable PCs or whatever the case is, Switch 2 that has VRR, it's definitely a good thing. I have VRR on my TV and it works really well with a lot of games. Unfortunately, the Nintendo Switch 2 does not have VRR support in docked mode, just portable mode. Now, a lot of people play portable, so that's great, but I'm hoping that Nintendo can also add in 2026 or even 2027 VRR support for TV as well. I know for Sony, it did take them a couple years or so to add that VRR support to TV. It was not supported at the very beginning, even though the system was obviously capable of doing it, but it wasn't supported. So I'm hoping that Nintendo gets something worked out here, not only with the portable mode, of course, that's great, and continue to work on that VRR, but also for TV mode as well. And another thing that this shows too is that the Switch 2 still has room to grow. It still has room to get better when it comes to DLSS implementation, in addition to VRR and other tech aspects. This is once again just the beginning. Like I talked about, we're going to see more games come out, push the Nintendo Switch 2 and use more of its stuff. Even Nintendo themselves have not fully utilized everything that the Nintendo Switch 2 can do. So I'm definitely excited to see the next slate of games coming that give developers more time and better understanding of the Nintendo Switch 2 technology to take better advantage of that with their games and have, of course, a better product for us to pick up and play. So what do you guys think about all the different topics that we went over here? A lot of stuff. Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click the notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.